Okay, so to begin, what we're going to do is we're first going to look at how exactly is your course broken down. So the way that your course is marked and broken down is as follows. Okay, so please take a note of this. So in terms of your course, the way it's broken down is as follows. You get 30 marks for your RUAE. This is an exam. Okay, this is done in exam format. Also, you get 20 marks for your Scottish text and 20 marks for your critical essay. Both of these are done together on in a separate exam. Okay, this is called the critical reading exam. The first one is RUAE. The other exam is called critical reading. So in total, the exam portion of your course makes up 70% or 70 marks out of 100. The remaining 30 marks, the remaining 30% comes from your portfolio piece, your portfolio essay. Now, it's important to note that your portfolio piece, this is done in class and also at home. This is not done in an exam. So you have two exams, okay, for your English. You have an RUAE close reading exam and you have a critical reading exam, which is your Scottish text and your critical essay. Then throughout the year, okay, you have to create and then submit one portfolio piece. Now, in the year 2022, this is only one piece, okay? In other years, it's been two pieces, but this year it's only one piece. In any case, whether it's one piece or two pieces, in total, the portfolio section of your course is worth 30 marks. So whether you have to do two essays, which are worth 15 each, or just one, which is worth 30, in total, it's worth 30. Okay. Now, the next thing that we're going to look at, okay, is the basic definition of each element of the course. So get ready to write this down. So we begin with RUAE. Okay. So in terms of RUAE, what is RUAE? RUAE is the close reading of a text. It's answering specific questions using specific techniques such as word choice, link questions, in your own words, that kind of thing, imagery, sentence structure. These are all different types of techniques that you answer specific question types with. Now, here is something that is very important for you to note down. The most important skills when it comes to RUAE, okay, are these three. In your own words, word choice, and the 5-mark comparison if you are doing higher. At National 5, there is no 5-mark comparison. So at National 5, there's only in your own words and word choice. And at higher, there's in your own words, word choice, and the 5-mark comparison question. If you understand how to do these specific techniques, yeah, you understand how to answer questions with these techniques, you will be able to answer at least 50% of any RUAE paper, okay? So, and in many cases, the number of marks awarded to these will be more than 50%. It will be 60%, 70%. Yeah, it can be very, very high, but at least 50% of the marks will come from a combination of these different techniques. So this is where we will spend most of our time in terms of your learning. Okay, now the next thing that we'll look at is the Scottish text. So the Scottish text section of your exam, of your critical reading exam, is when you study a text, okay, in class, which is written by a Scottish author. This could be like a poem, it could be a novel, it could be a short story. And then you answer questions on this text in the exam. And you also answer a specific question, okay, which is called either the 8-marker or the 10-marker. So at National 5, this is going to be the 8-mark question where you compare this text to another text, or you compare part of a book to another part of the same book for 8 marks, that would be National 5, or you do the same thing for 10 marks higher. That is the Scottish text exam. So very simply, it's just studying a text written by a Scottish author and then answering specific types of questions on it. And the good thing for you to know is once you've mastered the RUAE skills, you already have an understanding of how to do the Scottish text exam, because the questions in the Scottish text exam are essentially just RUAE questions, with the addition of the final question, the 8 marker or the 10 marker, which has its own structure, but even there, it's basically RUAE again. So that is very good to know, and that is very encouraging. Okay, now the next thing is we're going to look at now is your critical essay. Okay, so what is your critical essay exam? The critical essay exam is when you study an English text. This doesn't have to be by a Scottish author. It's just an English text. It could be Shakespeare. It could be a poem. It could be many different things, a play. And then you write an essay on it in the exam. So your critical essay exam, just like what it says, is you write an essay on it in the exam. Now, again, it's important to remember, okay, that the Scottish text exam and the critical essay, they're both one exam, okay? So you do the Scottish text part, and then you do the critical essay part. They're both joined together. And what I'll do for you now, okay, is I will show you an example of a exam paper. And this will give you an idea in terms of what your exam will look like. Okay, so yes, here we go. There we go. Okay, so this is a past paper, in other words, an exam paper. And what I'm going to do, as soon as it loads, I'm going to show you exactly what your exam will look like. Okay, so we begin with your RUAE. So you have RUAE, you have a passage, okay, a text, which you can see, and then you have questions on text. At National 5, this will just be one passage, one text. At higher, this will be 2 passages, okay, and then one set of questions on the text. Then you have, like I said, a critical reading exam. So this is separate. This is not the same as the RUAE exam. This is separate, in which you have to answer, in which you have to do the Scottish text section, again, like I said, which is worth 20 marks. And then you also have to do the critical essay section, which again, like I said, is 20 marks. And you should spend approximately 45 minutes on each section. Okay, and just to give you sort of an example, here is what your Scottish text section could look like. So here is an extract, part of a text. An extract from a text which has been studied in class. This is from a play, okay? And then you have questions, and then you have finally here, this is from a higher past paper, which is why it says 10. But if this was Nat 5, it would say 8. Okay, that's basically the only difference. There's some other minor differences, but that's like the main kind of major difference. Okay, besides the way it's marked, in terms of Nat 5, you get a mark for the quote. Higher, you don't get a mark for the quote. But okay, I'll explain that just when we get to it. Okay, now I'll show you the critical essay section. So you can see what that looks like. Okay, so here is your critical essay section. So you would have done your Scottish text part of your exam. Now you go here and you pick a question. So it's your choice. You can pick any question you like. You just choose the sort of correct type of text. Then you pick a question and you write an essay on that question. Okay, so that is the Scottish text section of your exam. Okay, now finally, the last thing is the folio piece. Again, this makes up the final 30% of your overall course, your overall grade. And the folio piece is just creating a piece of writing or two pieces in a specific format, for example, a reflective essay, a short story, or a persuasive essay. And then you submit that in class, you submit that to the SQA. You submit that as its own sort of separate thing. Again, there's no exam on this. It's just something that you do throughout the year, and then you submit at the end. Okay. So that is the sort of overall outlook or overall sort of picture of your course. Okay. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to have a sort of quick look into what you should do to sort of maximize your learning. And then we're going to go straight into the learning. We're going to go into RUAE first, and then your critical essay and your Scottish text, and then your folio. What you can do alternatively is you can just go to the section that you think you need the most help with, and you can learn sort of in any order that you like. Okay, so I'll see you in the next video.